Well, I don't know what to say, but I will say that I am probably the president's #1 fan. And that's not going to change.
Okay, so perhaps like many of you, I'm scrolling through Twitter, minding my own business, and suddenly Nicki Minaj is trending again, and this time she's holding hands with Donald Trump. And trending in a conservative newsletter. Nicki Minaj, this is the woman behind the Barbs who made songs about glitter, barfing on exes, and spaceship fantasies. And now she's very quickly become MAGA's newest mascot. You blink, you squint, and you check your feet again, and you think, okay, did I miss a meeting where like somehow we put her on a vaccine skepticism and rap lyrics pipeline to full-blown MAGA-ism?
The hate or what people have to say, it does not affect me at all. It actually motivates me to support him more. And it's going to motivate all of us to support him more. We're not going to let them get away with bullying him and, you know, the smear campaigns. It's not going to work, okay? He has a lot of force behind him, and God is protecting him. Amen.
Nicki's always done her own thing. She's always questioned authority. She's always trolled journalists, tweets, stories that make doctors want to crawl back into a hole or under a rock. And she doesn't clarify. She doesn't ever usually apologize. She just posts, keeps posting enough until the media circus turns it into some kind of cultural trophy. And they really do. The clips are endless. The applause is loud, and she doesn't have to ever answer a single question. People are immediately starting to ask, like, is she being paid by the MAGA heads? No, there's no record of checks that we can see, no secret handshake that I'm aware of. I don't think this is about money. I think this is about something much more sinister and a very particular kind of safety net that only happens to exist in right-wing media sphere. And she's letting it happen. And we're gonna get into exactly why, because it is frightening. But real quick, I'm Lauren Paritra. Please take a moment to subscribe. This is Willa Paritra. She's gonna bring me the ball the entire time. And we currently have a lead on Katie Miller, who is the wife of Stephen Little Bitch Miller, the white nationalist from Santa Monica, the very pale, pasty, ghosty looking guy. Behind all of this ICE terror, behind all of the masked militia in the streets executing our neighbors and disappearing them into internment camps in broad daylight. So consider every like, every sub, every comment an F you to Katie Miller and Stephen Little Bitch Miller. We can't do it without you. So let's get back to it, because while everyone's talking about Nicki Minaj and this hand-holding moment with Trump, the real story is much closer to home. Specifically, the home where her husband lives and her brother, both of whom have criminal histories that are very complicated. And by complicated, I mean absolutely fucking disgusting. Let's start with her husband, Kenneth Zoo Petty. They met in high school in Queens. A teenage romance. Cute, right? Except this is Queens and life doesn't stay cute forever. They broke up, they lost touch. Years later, they rekindled things. They married in 2019. They have a son together. Very sweet life story, except for the part where Kenneth Petty has a criminal history that would make most people reconsider, you know, getting married to them.
Nicki Minaj's husband is seeking court permission to go on her Pink Friday 2 world tour. This was just filed tonight in Los Angeles federal court. Some of you might know about Kenneth Petty's legal issues. He has a rape conviction from back in the 90s, and he has to register as a sex offender. He didn't register as a sex offender in Los Angeles, and he actually got charged in federal court with failing to register as a sex offender. This was a couple years ago. He got a probation sentence. The prosecutors actually wanted him to go to prison for it, but the judge said no and just gave him a probationary sentence. So he is currently on probation out of LA federal court for that. So his lawyer today just filed something with the judge that said, hey, can Kenneth Petty go with Nicki Minaj on this world tour that actually starts in 2 days? It's a pretty last minute request here, and it's kind of like, well, what's he going to do if the judge says no? Prosecutors don't take a position on it. They're not opposed. They're not for it. They're just not taking a position. His probation officer doesn't oppose it, which I think is important. That probably really indicates that that's going to matter to the judge. That could make the judge sign it for sure.
Petty was convicted in 1995 of attempted rape in the first degree against a 16-year-old girl. He served about 4.5 years in prison. That's how he became a registered sex offender, a status that he carries to this day, by the way. This is not a footnote. Fast forward to 2020, when everyone started getting a little extra weird. After moving to California, Petty was arrested for failing to register as a sex offender, which is a federal crime. He pleaded guilty and got home confinement, probation, and a fine, which, yes, is a lot tighter than you might think for federal offenses, but the details exist in court documents. And for good measure, he also served time for manslaughter in the early 2000s. So yeah, husband, convicted rapist, registered sex offender, house arrest, failing to register, manslaughter sentence in the past, and somehow Nicki Minaj, Miss Kirkchella, main stage headliner, married him. Life is strange. And that's only half the story. Then there's her brother, Jelani Mirage. In 2017, he was convicted of predatory sexual assault against an 11-year-old girl. They sure love the Petalinis on the right. And he's currently serving 25 years to life in prison, not probation. Very much life behind bars, not even community service. And yes, all this is public record. All of this has been reported by major news outlets. None of it's gossip. None of it's just kind of like social media banter or conspiracy theorists. It's all online. There's a legal history. You can look it up yourself. So now you can maybe start to see why MAGA media matters to Nicki. She's a very practical person, it seems, because while her husband and brother are complicated, the audience she's currently attracting doesn't ask questions. They're just amplifying anything. They're defending her. They're treating her like a mascot instead of a human being with some problems in her family. And Nicki doesn't really need MAGA. MAGA needs her. And that's the only reason this whole circus exists. So let's talk about the absurdity for a minute, because picture this. She's holding hands with Trump. This video exists. I saw it with my own eyes, and it's very terrifying, very weird and ridiculous. And somehow she looks calm. Like this is just another Tuesday for her, while the rest of the internet is just screaming into pillows or chomping on a ball. And I look at this photo and think, okay, weird, next. Meanwhile, Petty's federal arrest, Mirage's life sentence, internet mobs, cancel culture, headlines that don't stop, and Nicki's just like existing in the middle of all of it. Right-wing media treating her like she's untouchable royalty, and her perfectly calm, letting the chaos just swirl around her. And this is wild. Before we wrap, quick reminder, I'm Lauren Paritra. This is Willa Paritra. We cannot do this without you. So please take a moment to subscribe. Every like, every comment, every share is basically a tiny little middle finger to Katie Miller and that pale white nationalist, Stephen Little Bitch Miller. We've got to maintain our lead on this vodcast, on her podcast built on the backs of trafficked children. Can't do this without you. Let's get to 50K.